Ready? Okay. You go. Well.
Okay.
Just say the name.
Hi. Hi and welcome to White Mountain Homestead.
There's a slight accent. Okay.
We can take two.
Well, howdy, y'all. Okay. So.
We should redo that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm just gonna edit it. Edit it out. Hey, I'm Ross.
And I'm Lily. Welcome to White Mountain Homestead.
So this is a channel that we're making to record our project that we have about an acre of land that we're leasing in rural New Hampshire, and we're turning it into a homestead. And it's we're probably going to be there for about 4 to 5 years. We're leasing the land now. I have a job that's up in that area, so that's why we're going there. But we don't plan to be there necessarily for forever. We would like a more rural plot and a lot more acreage eventually. But in the meantime, we're going to work with what we got, and we're leasing the land, and it's pretty much like uncleared. So it's on a private road, and somebody had owned the land about 20 years ago with the intention of building a house there. So they had clear cut some of the trees there, and had cleared off a little driveway, I guess, and had started to flatten and build the foundation. But they only got as far as the forms, and then I guess, from my understanding, the company either lost the land or they went belly up or something. So the land has been untouched for roughly 20 years, between like 15 and 22, 23 years about. The reason that we picked a yurt was because it was only semi-permanent. If we had bought the land and had more land, and we're planning to be there for a lengthy amount of time, I probably would have built a cabin or something like that. It would have been a lot easier for us to just buy and put a like camper or trailer up on the property. But Lily and I like more alternative styles of living, and a camper just seemed a little mundane for our taste. So we settled on a yurt. Really fell in love with the design of them, the open aspect of it, how it's circular. They're pretty rare. You don't really see them. So we're gonna set that up there, and we're gonna go through a little bit of our basic plans for different amenities that we're gonna have. So for water, at the beginning, we're gonna be doing carry-in, and for potable, and for non-potable water, so for gardening and stuff like that, we're going to be using a rain catchment system that we'll design and make. If we were going to be there, once again, for a long term, or I'd own the land, I'd be looking at putting in a well. But also, you got to look at our state code. So in the state of New Hampshire, the state code is, once water is running by itself into the structure, you have to provide a septic as well. So if we had made a well and it pumps into a regular faucet or shower or one of those types of systems inside the yurt, then we'd also have to put in a septic, and it becomes a whole big thing. State of New Hampshire is fine with carrying in your water. They want to see you have an effective plan to get rid of human waste. So we're doing a composting toilet, and the state is fine with that. Electricity, we have the ability to eventually get electrical hookups to the property where we are by that private road that I mentioned earlier. However, for right now, we're just going to stick with solar, and we're gonna save up and upgrade the system towards the end of the summer. Once we're more settled in there. For the meantime, most of our lights is going to be kerosene lanterns, and we tell that to most of the people, and I think everybody kind of is like, whoa, like my great grandpappy used to have that in Wyoming. And yeah, but it's you get the really refined kerosene, and it's odorless and it's smokeless, and you use it indoors, and it's not as, it's uncommon nowadays, but it's not. That's just the way it was. So for when we do have the solar, that is going to be reserved for important things. So we might have an LED like string of lights or whatever if we want, but that's mostly for like freezer and fridge, for keeping food. As far as the gardening goes, that's Lily's little forte there. I'm mostly doing the construction and most of the brunt work, and my focus is on the animals and animal husbandry. So we're looking at meat and egg-laying chickens. We're looking at meat rabbits as well, and we're looking at goats. And goats are, I mean, it's a long-running joke in my family, but like I love goats. I've never had goats, but I've seen them. I've seen goats, and I've put hands on them and pet them around and stuff, and I just like goats a lot. I just think that they're the perfect size. They're friendly enough. They have big personalities. They're browse.
Useful.
Yeah, they're useful. They browse instead of graze, so you don't need some wide open. We're like with a cow, you have like one cow for like 3 or 7 acres, depending on the breed. Like a goat, stick a few of them. They're happy on mountainous terrain with like buckthorn and briars and stuff. So utilizing the property that we have, goats, meat rabbits. Meat rabbits are another one that is the meat is really like protein dense, and you get a lot of meat out of them. People, especially here in America, view rabbits more as a pet, and they go for the pet breeds. So a lot of people are like, I couldn't kill a rabbit. They're way too cute. And it's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, but the idea here is a great emphasis on how we treat our animals and their happiness and health. So instead of getting certain or taking the easy way that might be more profitable and more productive, like a large farm would have to do to make money, we're just going to do it the maybe a little more expensive way, but it's going to provide the animals with a more stress-free and healthy and happy life. Because at the end of the day, that's the idea here at a smaller operation. Excuse me. Blah blah blah. So we're not terribly serious. Like, you'll see some of these homesteading like channels, and they're like, we make $60,000 a year and we farm, and that we both are gonna have full-time jobs in the area, so it's more of a, I'd say, serious hobby. So we're not a professional carpenters or anything like that, but when I'm building stuff and I'm showing you the stuff I'm building, like this weekend I'm trying to build an outhouse, I'll be recording that. I'm not a professional, right, but I have access to the internet, and we can all learn, and I've lived on a homestead for a while, and I've built a few structures with help. But we're not going to be one of those channels that's like everything is going to be some pristine, like picturesque, like old 18th century, like red barn, and that's just not the reality of it. We're going to do things in a budget friendly and healthy and safe and an effective way to show that anyone can do this. You don't have to save up 80 grand and go all out and build this 3-story like cabin and stuff to be happy, and things will improve as we're more established, but it's not going to be like a professional like masterpiece of carpentry here.
This homestead is more about like something that we want to do. It's not, like you said, it's not like something that we're trying to make money from. It's just for us to be a little bit more self-reliant and to grow our own food, or as much as we want to grow our own food, to live closer to nature and to live off grid and live a simpler life.
You get more, I find that for me personally, you get more satisfaction when you're doing stuff for yourself. So modern day Western society, you've traded a lot of time for money. So instead of having to cut wood, nowadays you might have just oil, or you might, even if you do burn wood, you might just order a few cords of wood and like stack it and burn it. You're not spending the time to go out and process the wood and get the lumber yourself. You're working a regular job, and you're just using money from the time spent in the job instead of time spent at the homestead. Well, I like more of a hands-on living to get what I need. So even though we're working like full time, it's still that's still very much like we are providing for ourselves without a ton of reliance on an outside like systems, or at least as much as we reasonably can at the level that we are. Yeah. Anyway, so this episode was kind of to serve as like an introduction to our general like ideas of what we're doing here. So thank you all for watching, and I'm excited to share some more with you. Bye.